It all starts for any teacher. There's the stuff you ask permission for, and there's the stuff you just go ahead and do. And there's always a little bit of risk. For me, the risk was, how do I tap into a token ring line to get internet in my classroom? I didn't really tell anybody I was cutting wires and trying to patch them in and getting help from outside the building in terms of how to make it work again. But I thought for a while that that was the work. It turned out once I turned on the internet, the kids were more interested in being at the computers at the side of the room than they were sitting in the rows. I got moved away from the chalkboard and it became PowerPoint, and then it was a wireless mouse, and I was in the back of the classroom, and I realized, not because I figured it out, but when a kid raised his hand one day and said, Mr. Betheil, do I need to spend all my time writing this down? Couldn't you just print it out for us? And I didn't really have a good answer for why it was no. I mean, I knew they still had to work on note-taking, but the idea was, okay, here's my outline for the day. Why don't you guys read it the night before, and why don't you come in tomorrow with any questions you had? And next thing I knew, they had all sorts of different questions, and now I was organizing them into groups, and all of a sudden the PowerPoint and the Blackboard went away, and we had gone to collaborative learning around projects and questions that the kids were doing. And so all that kind of got ticked off by the technology, but as soon as you start to see these tools, the question is, how do you use them? So my advice for any teacher is, some things you ask permission for, some things are just easier to apologize, and don't be afraid to break some things, and eventually you get out ahead of the curve. But that's the way that technology finds its ways into classrooms. I think the opportunity now, really simply, is that broadband is faster, people are talking to each other all over the world, and the set of resources that are online that weren't online 20 years ago, it's really challenging how we think about instruction in general. And so it's a whole new, different set of things. And as much as I sit here in the central office, I'm sure there's a bunch of teachers out there right now breaking rules that we think we're upholding. And they're the ones that are going to lead us to the next generation, not the policies we're setting here.